Bright Idea, New Mexico. Here we're going to talk about the issues, some of the things that we see in sports that, we think are worth noting. I want to look at this. We're talking about money. Money, 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 money. Money in terms of, should women get paid as much as men? That's a conversation we've been having for years, and that conversation is getting louder in today's society. However, I got a huge problem with the tone-deaf nature of a certain organization going on. That's right. The U.S. women's soccer team does not get paid as much as the men, even though historically they have been more successful, okay? FIFA, for instance, look at this. The FIFA payout 2015 women's winner, the U.S. women's team, was $2 million, while the men's winner in 2014 got $35 million. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a difference of $33 million to the champions of FIFA. FIFA, to me, reminds me of another four-letter word starting with an F. Foul. Completely foul, guys.
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you think about this issue?
You know, the number one thing, like you said before, it has been a very hot topic for equal pay for women for years in a lot of aspects. But for me, this situation in particular, when I first started reading about this, just made me angry. Very, very angry. Tyler's got some stats he'll go into, but it breaks my heart because, like you said, these women go onto the field, they put in a lot of work, and they reap very great results. It's disappointing to see that they're not paid as much, or even in relativity to how successful they have been compared to the men's team. No discredit to the men's athleticism or their ability, but I think in relativity, the pay should be different.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Now, Kimberly, she just mentioned the stats. Now, let's break it down for you. The United States women are ranked #1 in the world. They are the best women's team across the globe. The men on the other side for the United States in the 30s. So with that being said, if you win a match, the men make $17,000 per one win. The women, on the other hand, make $1.3 thousand.
What?
Yeah, and this is where it gets even worse. Now, the men, if they lose a game, they'll make $5,000. The women, big fat zero.
If the women lose a game,
They do not make
they
any
don't
money.
make, and they get penalized for losing a game. The men just get a $2,000 bump off of what they normally would get.
No, they get a $12,000 bump off what they would normally get. But regardless, I mean, they're still making $5,000 in a loss, as to where the women,
They're
even
still
in
making,
a win, they're making $1.3 thousand.
Still making more than women do when they win.
Exactly. I mean, it would take the women's team more than it would take them 4 games to make in what the men make in one loss. Now, in the revenue department, in this last year, the men's team lost $2 million in profit. The women's team was plus $17 million just this last year. So the women, they're raking in all the TV ratings. And touching on that, the Women's World Cup final last year actually broke the American record for the most watched soccer game in America between men's or women's. So there's really no debate here, guys.
There's no
really
debate whatsoever. It's just the tone-deaf nature on U.S. soccer alone and FIFA. Like you said, to support that fact, 25.4 million people watched the 2015 Women's World Cup final, the most watched soccer match in U.S. history. Now, a lawsuit was filed against the EEOC about this from team captains Carrie Lloyd, Becky Salsabrum, and goalie Hope Solo, as well as forward Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan, sweetheart, if you ever want to give me a call, I will accept that. Just wanted to put that out there. Okay, and midfielder Megan Rapone. Look, they're representing the entire team. This is from Dave Zarin from The Nation. And here's a quote from Solo. Quote, "The numbers speak for themselves," said Solo. "We are the best in the world. We have 3 World Cup champions, 4 Olympic champions. The men get paid more just to show up than we get paid to win championships." That is a sad statement and a sad indictment on American sports.
Absolutely. And you know, one thing that might be completely irrelevant, but I think is kind of somewhat relevant, Hope Solo was one of the most Googled names 3 years ago of any athlete. And they're not making any money.
They're not making the money. So what has to happen? Look, the U.S. women's team wins. And now we all get our hopes up for the men's soccer team.
Yeah.
In 2014, at the last World Cup, the men made it close. Ronaldo showed why. He
Ronaldo.
showed why he was the best in the
Ronaldo.
world, ladies and gentlemen. The man made it close, and we felt good. That was a feel-good story. And the very next year, once again, the ladies capture our heart. Think of all the big, major international soccer moments in U.S. history. Mia Hamm. Last year, what these ladies were able to do. They just absolutely came in and dominated and just really instilled pride. I would say, more so than the men, U.S. women are the reason why soccer is a growing sport in this country.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. As you said, they have 3 World Cup championships. The men, they make it to the round of 16.
They need to get
You know?
paid something commensurate to what they have been doing on the field. Look, in the NFL, in the NBA, Major League Baseball, and for college coaches, not the players, you get paid if you win. If you don't win, you are out of the league, out of the system. You don't get those contract bonuses. So we obviously already have a precedent of rewarding success on the field within the respective games. Why aren't we doing this with women?
It goes back to the previous CBA, the collective bargaining agreement that was reached just a couple of years ago with the women. Now, the women, they do have some benefits that the men don't have. Now, the women have maternity leave, stuff like that, where they get paid. The men don't have any sorts of options like that. Now,
There's
it's not
paternity
even-
leave in some
Not as far as
some
the men's
places.
team goes.
No, not for
as
men's
far,
soccer,
Not as far
but
as
yeah,
the men's team
that's
goes.
very
But
true.
we're comparing men's and the women's teams. Now, like I said, the women's teams, they negotiated this CBA. So now, once they're realizing, like, hey guys, we're getting these ratings, we're the ones that's carrying U.S. soccer, we need a little bit more money, they're going to have to go back to that negotiating table and renegotiate that CBA if anything is going to get done.
Now, if this is a tenuous situation with the renegotiation of the collective bargaining agreement, do you see a strike on hand?
Well, that's another possibility. We've already heard them talking about potentially striking the Summer Olympics this year down in Rio. So, I mean, I know Hope Solo's already said she wouldn't go. Megan Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd, a few of the Becky Sauerbrunn, all those girls that you touched on.
Is
A lot
Alex
of them-
Morgan going?
For the sake of the tournament, I would hope so.
I'm
I
sure
hope she
we'll see
doesn't.
lots of pictures of her.
If you don't go, Alex, I'll hang out with you for 2 weeks. We could find something to do. I know.
She's married.
She's married, really?
I think so.
It doesn't really matter to me. All right, we're going to make it happen. But regardless, we want her to get paid as much as the men. And this is something ridiculous. So we're going to send this shout out to U.S. Soccer, and we're going to send this shout out to FIFA. Hashtag pay them what they're owed. Hashtag pay them what they are owed. This is absolutely ridiculous. And if it gets to this point, if it gets any worse, we're going to start the hashtag boycott soccer.
Boycott U.S. soccer.
Boycott U.S. soccer,
Because
I'm sorry.
the
Yeah.
European leagues are incredible.
They are incredible. Let's make sure that they're paying the women who play in the European leagues equal pay. All right, that's it for the Big Bright Idea. Once again, we gave you something hopefully you can talk about with your friends. And like I said, Alex, tweet me or something. Okay, coming up, we got the Mav talking baseball here on the U Sports Report.